Hello everyone, my name is Paul and welcome to video 2 of the Python so my last video was a little longer. That was just because I went to go touch up on basically all the basics for Python. I did statements, I did loops, I did went over pretty much almost all the operators. So today we are going to learn functions. So this video we're going to learn about functions before we get into lists and then arrays and vectors and stuff like that. So this is going to be really fun because I love functions. You can do a lot with functions. So we can go ahead and let's get started. So while this is loading, so a function is like a mini program within a program. You can do a lot with it. So one of the major purposes of a function is to group code together, and without defining a function, you would have to copy and paste code each and every time. And what I mean by that is we can go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do new project. Sorry, it's taking very long. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do Python application, and we're going to go ahead and name this first function. Alright, so it's going to go ahead and create that project for us. Alright, perfect. So now we're at where we can write our source code. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with saying define, and then we're going to do hello. And then, so what we're doing here is this is a define statement, which is defining the function of named hello. So the code of block that follows this define statement is the body of the function. So we can go ahead and let's do print, we'll say hi, print hello, and then we'll also do print hey. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to say hello, and then we're going to do it 3, we'll just do it twice. So what we're doing is we are defining a function named hello, and within the function of hello is we're going to print hi, hello, and hey, all in just one function of hello. Now I'll go ahead and delete, we can just shoot it once. So hello, when I just say hello with the open parentheses, that basically means do whatever is inside the function. So when we go ahead and start without debugging, it'll say hi, hello, and hey, which is all what we have in here. Now, let's go ahead and do a different one. We'll define hello, but this time we're going to do name. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a print And we're gonna say hello, and then we're gonna do add name. All right. So now, in here, we're gonna do a name. Let's say a name. So like Bob. Perfect. So what we're doing is we're doing the same thing. We're just defining a function named hello with a name in it. So we're printing saying hello. So it's going to bring out print hello, and then we're going to add the name. So this right here is pretty much the same thing as this, except in this, we're just adding the name. We're not adding the name here, we're adding the name there. So when we start without debugging, it should say hello, Bob. So we can go ahead and do the same thing. Now we can do this as many times as we want. Now if we just did this, it wouldn't work because we're adding a name. So we have to have something, even if it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It would say hello Bob, and then right under that, hello 1, 2, 3, 4. All right guys, so I just went ahead and cleared up my screen. So we now have a basic, like a little bit of an understanding of how a function works, and what we're going to do is we're going to build an application that will actually give us a better understanding of functions. And this application is going to be a magic 8-ball. So we all know what a magic 8-ball is, right? Just a little ball that you would shake up, you'd ask it a question first and shake it, and then it would give you a response. Now we're going to go ahead and do that. So first, what we have to do is we have to, in order to randomly generate a pre-hard-coded answer that we have to import a module. Now, I will go later into depth about what that is, but first we just have to do import, and then we're going to do random. Oops. So now what we're going to do is once we have our module pretty much imported into our code, we're just going to do print. Now, before I get started, too ahead of myself, I just want to let you know that there are multiple ways. There are 2 ways you can print something. You can do double quotations and do whatever, or you can do a single quotation and do the same thing. The reason why I do 2, and you've seen this in my earlier videos, is because I'm just used to other programming languages that require 2 quotations, and it works in Python, so I'm like, why not keep it, you know? Don't change it up. If this is your first programming language and you want to do that, just go ahead. Or if you want to do single. But I just don't want to confuse you when you see other people's work, and they have used that, because most people who are native to Python, they use a single quotation. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to print, what is your question? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to allow the user to input something. I'm going to name it my user. Oops. My user equals input. All right. So now we can allow the person to input something. So what we have to do is we have to create a function. So of course we have to have a defining, and then we're gonna do, let's name it get answer. Now in this we are going to put answer number. So now we can go ahead and get started on our statements. So, sorry, before we do that, we have to add, boom, perfect. So now we'll do if. So if answer number equals 1, print, let's go ahead and do, it is certain. Perfect. Now we have to do an elif, because We could do an else, but that would mean we'd only have like one other choice, but we're gonna have 8 choices, so we have to do an elif statement because we can do, elif is pretty much just like an or and then an or. We can just keep adding them and adding them and adding them from multiple situations. So elif answer number equals 2, then we're gonna print a string that says it is decidedly yes. Or we'll say so. It makes more sense. So to save us the trouble of hard programming this, we can go ahead and copy this and backspace and just keep printing them. We're gonna go ahead and do this until we get up to the 8 that we need. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Now all we have to do is change what the answer says. So for 3, we can go ahead and put yes. For 4, we can go and say reply is hazy, try again. For this one, for number 5, we can do ask again later. For 7, we can do con. Yeah, we'll do concentrate. We'll do concentrate and ask again. That's a pretty common one. And then for 7, we can go ahead and do my reply is no. We'll do all caps, no. And exclamation point. Perfect. And then for our very last one, we can go ahead and do outlook not so good. Perfect. Now we have all 8 that we need. So that is the end of our function. Now we can create our thing, which will help us randomly generate. So what we have to do is r equals random initial. So what this does right here is it returns, I'll get it back up so you can see what it means. So basically it returns a random integer and a range that includes both endpoints. And what I mean by is, I'll show you in a second. So what we need to do is we need to start from one end and work and end on our last one. So this is our variable. We can literally name this anything. We can name this, I don't know. We'll just name it R for now because it's just easier to do. So random integer 1, and then the range is 1 through 8. Now we could do 1 through 4, but it's only going to randomly generate the 1 through 4 on the answers. But we want all answers there, right? So we're doing 1 through 8. So now we can name this new variable. We'll name it fortune. And that is going to equal our get answer. And then we'll do R in there because R is going to be our random. Now, because our fortune is going to equal our random number and statement generated, we have to print our fortune. Oops. So now we have our parentheses, but we don't have to have quotations because we're not printing out fortune. We are just going to print out the outcome of fortune. Boom. So now, if we went ahead and did it, it'd be, what is your question? Let's do something simple. Will I get married? And boom. It'll give you Outlook not so good. So that is pretty much the basics of a function. So we can actually change the print, and we can do return. So with a return, let me go ahead and a return pretty much does the same thing. Usually you're going to have a return within a statement, right? So what is your question? I don't know. Reply is hazy, try again. So you see how we had that none? Like here, let me show you a second ago. So when I had all prints, right? If we went ahead and started about debugging, it would be, what is your question? Whatever. It would say, it would give us a randomly generated thing, but then we have this weird thing called none, right? Which, we're like, well, what the heck is that from? So, and that is because we're using prints instead of returns. Now, you are going to want to do a return on these statements. So, and that's what I did earlier. So, we go ahead and return all those. And basically, the return is pretty much just the same thing as that. And you can go ahead and start live debugging. What is your question? Okay. Boom. It is decidedly so, and now we got rid of that none. Simple debugging. Alright, guys. So here's our 8-ball that we have generated. If y'all have any questions, yeah, please don't hesitate to comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So in our next video, we are going to go a little more into detail about functions, and then also we're going to get started with lists, arrays, and vectors, and all that fun stuff. Alright guys, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video and learned something new. Well, y'all have a great one, guys, and I'll catch you later.